was a hypocrite and did not know it. I wanted to be giving the orders. I wanted you to do what I said. I had good ideas. I could fill your life with activity. I could stimulate you, make you know God, make you know men. But they were all doing that. They all wanted to have slaves. Everyone wanted everyone else to believe and to follow their idea. No one would obey me. I hated them. I kept silent and obeyed their orders. They never thanked me. Always they made me do things and gave me orders. And I obeyed them and hated them. I could stir the world and move it, but I was a hypocrite and did not know it. I hated them, but I kept moving their garbage around. First here, make a neat pile. Now over there, make a neat pile. They were afraid of me. They knew I could rule them. They knew I could move the world. They knew I could succeed if they were my slaves. But they were afraid to really stir it. They only wanted to make their garbage, pile it up, spread it around, admire it, file it, and make more. Oh, they were good at making more, and they used me to move it. And what was pathetic? They were happy. They were pleased with themselves and with their garbage. And they knew I despised them and their filthy activity. But because they feared me, they always ordered me about with cunning grace. Oh, brother, would you kindly take this latest bit of trash and deposit it downtown in the National Incinerator, please? They were flunkies. They were all flunkies. And oh, how they enjoyed stepping on me. But what was most vile, they expected others to admire their garbage, to proclaim that they had moved the world, and in fact to admire them and to love their service. Oh, they were smug, and they wouldn't tell you it was their garbage you were so gleefully enjoying. And when they did, they'd humbly savor your gratitude. I hated them and despised those who clamored for their service. And when they'd show concern for me and smile at me with pity, I saw their conceit and loathed their vanity. If you love me, then obey me and be my slave. If you love me, then obey me and be my slave. Then shall I love you. Then shall I love you. Believe me. Trust me. We will move the world. We will stir it. I will use my force. I will use your force. I will tell myself to stir the world. I will tell you to stir it. I shall stir the world. They are fools. Let them think I love them. My hatred is pure. My hatred cannot change. If I hate enough, the world cannot change me. My hate is pure. They are fools. Let them think I love them, and they will follow me and obey me. Then come. Come, brothers, let us stir the world. Let us move it. Who understands? Who among you can say, I understand? Who will rise now and say, I see? Rise up then and speak. Arise. We are waiting for you. Do not be afraid. Simply say, I understand, I see, and we shall follow you and obey you and be your slaves. No response. They only watch and see nothing. They listen and hear nothing. They understand and know nothing. They move and go nowhere. They only sit and are silent. I am waiting for you to rise and speak. Do not be afraid, for one who hates may arise, or you, the one who loves, may now arise and say, come, I understand. No response. Listen, here is a secret. Here is a password. Listen. Tell yourself you understand. Tell yourself you see and hear and know. Then rise and speak, for the rest are fools and will follow you and obey you and be your slaves. New ones arise, and with their hate and with their love they speak and feed you and tell you and move you, and you believe. You believe and obey. Eat these words, fool, and believe. Come, brother, let us move the world and the hearts of men. Eat these words, fool, and believe. Come, brother, let us move the world and the hearts of men. Eat these words, fool, and believe. Come, sister, let us toil to move the world and the minds of men. Come, we will stir it and cause events. Come, fool, obey and be happy. Be happy. Attention. Your attention, please. Attention. Will the one who has no fear please arise and go to the main desk? Attention. Your attention, please. Will the one who has no fear please arise and go to the main desk? There is an urgent truth to attend. There is an urgent truth to attend. Attention. Your attention, please. Will the one who has no fear please arise and go to the main desk? There is an urgent truth. Yes, he is coming, the fool. I will explain and make it clear. I will make it very sharp. For you, fool, will I work. Yes, I have fools and slaves who hate me and obey me. I buy them and sell them and train them like monkeys, and they loathe me and need me and follow me like dogs. I am not alone. There are others like me. It was my idea. It was very carefully formed. And when I was ready, I stood up and said, I see and know and seek. Follow me, fools. And the dogs and the jackals came and begged for food. I fed them, and they obeyed. They wanted the idea. They wanted to believe. They wanted to know cause. And I told them and showed them, and they hated me and obeyed. And when they were mine and resisted, when they were mine and complained and wanted more, I yelled and jumped, and they winced and hating me obeyed. I was alone. I was alone and suffered. I loathed my suffering, but I was not afraid. I was giving the orders, and the idea grew, and I had slaves. Oh, they were fat, fat on my love. Oh, they were fat, fat on my hate. I was alone. Before, they gave me orders. They told me what to do. And when I opposed, they beat me and forced me. And I withdrew and learned to strike and hide. And they left me alone and feared me. And I am alone and will be alone. And I will strike and give the order, and the world will move. I have stirred it. And the dogs, the shaven jackals, will they come to take me? Will they come to shake me and fling me and spit their hate and fear? Let them if they must. I am not afraid. I am not afraid of whores and assassins and judges. You are sleeping. It is dark, and you sleep. I know you are sleeping. You want to sleep? Then let them sleep. Sleep and believe. sleep and think. Sleep and believe and think you cause it. And think you cause events. It is dark. I can see you sleeping. Sleeping and thinking they are sleeping. And believing that they cause it. Come, fool, and I will love you. I will show you. You will see cause. I will love you and show you cause and force you to know. Force you to know cause. And the end of your sleep, the end you do not seek, the end you do not cause, the end you fear and hate, the end of your sleep, it is the same. The end you do not seek, the end you fear and hate, the end you do not cause, it is the same. The end is the same. It is the same. The same for all. And now is the time. I am calling you. I am calling for you. I am calling all self-respecting sleepers. I'm calling all self-respecting fools. Come. I will share it with you. I will share the joke with you. Are you ill? Are your legs broken? Can you not come? Then come. Come with your sleep and share. It is here. It is here before you. It is ready for you. Come. I am calling you to eat, to obey. Attention. Your attention, please. Will the one who has no fear please arise and go to the main desk? Attention. Your attention, please. Will the one who has no fear please arise and go to the main desk? There is an urgent truth to attend. There is an urgent truth to attend. Attention. Your attention, please. Will the one who has no fear please arise and go to the main desk? There is an urgent truth. I dreamt a dream within a dream, a double sleep. They hated me and made me do things. They hit me and kicked me. I was afraid and angry, but I tricked them. Yes, I was tricking them and made them obey me. And they all seemed like fools, and they didn't know it was me. They couldn't see me. And within the dream, I awoke. In the dream, I awoke and dreamt I was awake. I dreamed I was awake.
The Ronald Reagan fascist army was successful in demonstrating to the electorate that the biggest block to the personal fulfillment of the American dream. Ronald Reagan's fascist army was successful in demonstrating to the electorate that the biggest block to the personal fulfillment of the American dream was the poor. To solve the problems of the economy, it was deemed necessary to lower the income of the poor. Studies had shown that the root cause of inflation was the excessive income of the poor. What was needed to reduce the income of the poor, thus enabling the wealthy to increase their wealth? The new federalism, as enacted by the Reagan Army, was successful in making great advances and growth in the economy by massive across-the-board reductions of income for the poor. There were many anomalies. The Reagan administration's anti-poor measures were simultaneous to and coordinated with state programs to deprive the poor of their rights and to create an image of the poor as worthless, lazy, useless, whining third-rate citizens. The program was a stunning success. If your income was less than $8,000 a year, your voting rights were stricken and your name was removed from the voter's registration. You were no longer permitted to purchase or drive a car and were no longer issued a driving license. Of course, you could no longer obtain a passport, and interstate travel of any sort was banned. If your income was under $7,000 a year, you were under further obligations. A curfew was imposed, and you had to be off the streets at 7 p.m. You were not allowed to purchase the televisions, the radios, books, literature, magazines, or newspapers of any sort. You could not purchase stimulants of any sort. These included the tobacco, alcohol, tea, and coffee. Your children were barred from the public schools, and your families were barred from attending the churches. You were not allowed to open or hold any bank accounts. You were not permitted to use the public transportations, to eat in the public restaurants, or to attend any public entertainments, to seek or obtain any medical services. It was mandatory for you to wear, at all times, the high visibility orange caps issued by the local authorities and which easily identified you as a member of the untouchables, the poor. It should be noted, though, however, that the poor were not barred from keeping dogs. During the first week of October 1983, the Kansas legislature enacted the laws that excluded the poor from various professions, including teaching, the journalism, medicine, farming, art, and the civil service. Kansas poor were deprived of their state residency status and were required to register with the police. Their property was seized by the state. Then, in July of 1984, at the height of the Wichita riots, 20,000 Kansas police rounded up 16,884 poor throughout the state and packed them into Memorial Stadium, located on the campus of the University of Kansas in Lawrence, for 12 days without food, water, or sanitary arrangements. An elite alumni corps of Christian contractors and Reagan right-to-lifers arranged for the removal to the prison yards at Lansing, where nearly all of them died. The systematic exterminations of the poor, as ordered and administered by the Ronald Reagan Army to save the economy, had begun before the decision to endorse them was taken by the majority leadership at the Topeka Conference in January of 1984. The mass shootings by special police and squads in Oklahoma, Kansas, and Nebraska had commenced in June of 1983. Gassing began at Pierceville, near Garden City, in December. The extermination camps at Salina, Great Bend, and Chanute, Kansas, began operation between January 1984 and July. The deliberate attempt to destroy systematically all of the poor and the rebel malcontent leadership was unsuspected by the spring and early summer of 1984, the very period at which it was at its most intense. It was not until the end of the year that the names of the places became known. After the Texas emissary, Harvey Matusow, reached Vancouver, Matusow had contrived to make contact with the rebel leadership from the Wichita ghetto, who had told him flatly that the entire poor population of America was doomed. Tell the leaders, these men said to Matusow, tell the leaders that the earth must be shaken to its foundations. The world must be aroused. Matusow then contrived to enter the death camp at Salina, Kansas, in disguise, and for a few hours to watch what was happening until he could bear no more. When he reached Vancouver and told his story, all doubts came to an end. In December, Canada published a grand regulation warning that the United States should desist. It was without effect. In May of 1985, Dr. B.F. Skinner, the spokesman for the U.S. poor in Vancouver, killed himself in an effort to stir the world from its passivity, as his suicide note explained. But the world was not stirred. For after all, it was only the poor and the elderly being exterminated. Matusow now entered a lonely world of moral isolation. Nobody outside wanted to share his knowledge, which instinctively they rejected. Human beings could not indecently do that to one another. Starvation, cruelty, lynchings, the odd massacre or pogrom like excess. Yes, but not electronic obliteration. The once critical need for social programs in a free society had been literally extinguished. By the spring of 1986, Virtually every social program in the United States had been dismantled. It was now apparent that no American citizen allowed his personal income to fall below the self-incriminating $8,000 level. When the labor unions were disbanded and outlawed, the 84-hour work week was reinstituted. The child labor laws were reversed as unconstitutional, and minimum adult wage was fixed at $2 per hour. Responsible adults were required to meet the $8,000 a year minimum income level or face internment as an orange cop. Orange cops labored for their survival in the RSPA, the Ronald Reagan Slavery Project Administration. As children from ages 5 to 14 entered the workforce at 50 cents a day, the federal deficit receded and reached zero level by March of 1987. The elimination of the poverty eliminated the need for food stamps programs. The ADC, the Medicare, the Medicaid, Meals on Wheels, etc. For the first time in our history, as a free nation, everyone, at last and under God, paid their own way. Those relatively few unfortunates who fell below the minimum income guidelines either joined the squads of orange cap slaves, if a position was available, or were extinguished, usually at one of the coal-fired power plants along the Missouri River in the Midwestern. In June of 1986, acting upon recommendations from the BIA, the Ronald Reagan administration federalized all Indian tribal land and opened these territories to settlement, investment, and private development. Initially, these areas were developed by the Orange Cap slave brigades. The Native Americans, numbering over 6 million, were all removed under the United Nations mandate to the Antarctic, where they would, under new environmental guidelines, eat penguins.
Turn your radio on, and listen to the music in the air. Turn your radio on, and glory share. Turn your lights down low, and listen to the Master's radio.
Get in touch with God.
Get in touch with God.
Turn your radio on.
Turn your radio on.
Come and listen in to the radio station where the mighty hosts of heaven sing.
Turn your radio on.
Turn your radio on.
Turn your radio on.
If you want to hear the songs of Zion coming from the land of endless spring.
Get in touch with God.
Get in touch with God.
Turn your radio on. Turn your radio on.
Turn your radio on.
And listen to the music in the air. Turn your radio on.
Turn your radio on.
And glory share. Turn your lights down low.
Turn your lights down low.
And listen to the Master's radio.
Get in touch with God.
Get in touch with God.
Turn your radio on.
Turn your radio on. Come and listen in to the Gloryland chorus. Listen to the glad hosannas roll. Turn your radio on.
Turn your radio on.
Turn your radio on.
Turn your radio on.
Get a little taste of love eternal. Put a little heaven in your soul. Oh, get in touch with
Get in touch
God.
with God.
Turn your radio on. Turn your radio on.
Turn your radio on.
And listen to the music in the air. Turn your radio on.
Turn your radio on.
And glory share. Turn your lights down low.
Turn your lights down low.
And listen to the Master's radio.
Get in touch with God.
Get in touch with God.
Turn your radio on.
Turn your radio on.
Listen to the songs of the fathers and the mothers and our many friends gone on before.
Turn your radio on.
Turn your radio on.
Turn your radio on.
Turn your radio on. Some eternal morning we shall meet them over on the Hallelujah shore.
Get in touch with
Get in touch
God.
with God.
Turn your radio on. Turn your radio on.
Turn your radio on.
And listen to the music in the air. Turn your radio on.
Turn your radio on.
And glory share. Turn your lights down low.
Turn your lights down low.
And listen to the Master's radio.
Get in touch with God.
Get in touch with God.
Turn your radio on.
Turn your radio on. Turn your radio on.
Turn your radio on.
And listen to the music in the air. Turn your radio on.
Turn your radio on.
And glory share. Turn your light.
Otherwise, you would suffer and forget who you are. Otherwise, you would suffer and forget who you are. To be made happy, you must have a certain something. Always there is a certain something which you must have, which you must have. Otherwise, you would suffer. And forget who you are, and forget who you are. You wonder what to do, like as you from your future grave to the present one, and so swiftly the human flies.
Your medical bill cannot be paid unless you sign the enclosed medical form on the line where we have typed a red X. You know, I'm illiterate, but I can follow a red X.
Speak, listen, and mimic, mimic, mimic. It is nothing new, it is nothing new. Despite your various claimings, it is nothing new. But then, what really matters is not what you are, but what you think you are and what you think is. But then what really matters is not what is, but what you think is. So why not say then, good, 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 these various musings, good.
Of course, it's not my medical bill. So I got on the horn. Long distance. Boy, I tell you, my adrenaline coefficient went like that. There's shrinkers at work, that's what. And it's got to be the children. Beverly is taking the kids to the shrinkers again. So I called them up. And I thought, you might appreciate this. Maybe you won't. And I said,
Good, 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 these various claimings. You would like to have that said. You would like to be made happy, happy, just as you have been made fearful and and now this just how, my friend, And have you been made so soft and fearful? How? And perhaps why? Well then, here's the truth. Well then, here's the truth.
I got the damn number. I got the Santa Cruz Mental Health Center. And I said, listen, I'm calling long distance from Lawrence, Kansas, and I want to talk to the big shrinker there. I said, I want to talk to the goddamn head rabbi. The head rabbi who's got the big hammer.
Well then, here's the truth. Well then, here's the truth. Here's what you've been waiting for. Here's what you've been waiting for. Truth without delay then. Here's the truth, what you've been waiting for. Namely, this. Ho, 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 ho. No, forgive me. I meant to say two things. I meant to say two things, namely, time and flesh.
That's what I said. They must have thought I was insane. That's what I said. I want to talk to the big rabbi, the son of a bitch who's got the big hammer. And they must have thought. I said, I want to talk to the guy who carries the biggest hammer there. They must have thought I was just absolutely manic, and I damn near was. Finally.
That is time and flesh. And both are always ending, and both are always finite, and both are always ending, always ending, and will finally cease. It doesn't do you much good, does it? Doesn't do you much good, does it? No, sorry. No. But after all, wouldn't you agree? After all, please, wouldn't you agree? It's really nothing, it's really nothing, nothing. And what's more, to be made happy, you must have a certain something always
furious about this. I got this goddamn bill from you bastards. I was wild. I was furious about this. Finally, a voice came on the phone. Hello? I thought, you gotta be a shrinker. I said, who are you? I'm Dr. Banana Nose.
You must have a certain something. There's always a little certain something. You must have always something. You must have a something. Otherwise, you would suffer and forget who you are. And what's more, to be made happy, happy, you must have a certain something, you must have a certain something. Always there is a certain something, there is a certain something which you must have. There always is a certain something which you must have. Otherwise, you would suffer and forget who you are. And what's more, to be made happy, you must have a certain something. You must always have a certain something. Always there is a certain something which you must have. You must have. There is a certain something which you must have.
I said, are you a psychiatrist? I said, are you a psychiatrist? And I said, listen, you son of a bitch. You're shrinking my kids. You're going to be in severe trouble because that bitch got those kids screwed up in the goddamnedest medical malpractice scandal in Lawrence, Kansas you could possibly imagine. Are you a psychiatrist? I didn't say shrinker, nothing offensive at that point. Are you a psychiatrist? And the answer was this.